Hello friend, how is it going? Welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. And today I have here for you 2010 Toyota Prius with approximately 180,000 miles on the odometer. And the owner brought it to my shop because he was driving and he felt loss of power while driving and had multiple warning lights in the instrument cluster. So he brought it to my shop. I did scan the computer, but first we checked the aux battery, and that battery was bad and that could cause that problem. So he actually got himself the Costco one. I have it on the maintainer charger. I did a scan and there were many codes in the computer, but the one we will be talking about today is that famous P261B, which is for an engine coolant pump B control fault. While having new aux battery, I deleted all the codes. When vehicle was restarted, within 15 seconds approximately, the code for the engine coolant pump B control fault came back. We can say immediately, and that means there is a time to replace this electric coolant pump. I highly recommend everybody to use Toyota ASIN product. These pumps, there's a lot of electronics inside there and they are very sensitive. So in our case, 2010 Prius, this is 161A0-29015. That's the correct part for this Prius. As you can see, it comes in the box, pump and its gasket. All I had to do, remove that beauty cover, and here is the part of intake, which you can see immediately here. That's missing from right here, and you can see the pump right down here. I brought the light because it goes really dark. It's raining outside. You can see the electric connector, which is right here, and that's the pump itself, held, if I'm correct, with 5 12mm bolts. So I will start with draining the coolant, this replacement, getting underneath the vehicle. The coolant drain for the radiator, it's somewhere right there. Coming from the driver's side, it's actually right here. And here you can see it nicely draining. I have it nicely ready here, all lighting ready. So I will remove those 5 12mm bolts and let's see what's up with this pump. So I left this top bolt for last. The other 4 are already removed. As you can hear, there will be always some coolant left. Despite the fact I took the time to drain that radiator. But here is the number 5. And we will have that pump out. We will see how it turns, if it's easy or if there is any hesitation on it. Most likely we will not recognize any difference. But let's see. Let's see. Here is the puppy coming out. Let's put them on the bench and see if we can spot any problems. Now, when the vehicle came, I dealt with the aux battery. I use my Autel bidirectional scanner and there was option in the engine, it's an electric water pump, and I was able to command the pump switching on and off. I could hear it and feel it with touching it in the engine bay. The way the software of Autel is set up, it was either 0 or 3000 RPM, and I was questioning that because the pump obviously was moving but didn't sound it like 3000 RPM. Now, brand new unit, you can turn this wheel without absolute any problem. This is the pump I just pulled off, the engine. So look, if I touch without grabbing it really, I cannot turn it. Now there is a loose area. I can turn it. But it's a huge resistance. So let's say, just to show you, if I just touch the surface like this, I cannot turn it. I will do the same with the brand new one from Toyota, and look, it will be turning. See how easy? No problem at all. Here I can turn the propeller. Well, now it moved, now it's stuck again, and my finger's slipping on it, even if I will try it. There is a resistance, please trust me. So despite the fact the pump was receiving command from the Autel, it was moving and vibrating. The hardware, there are many motherboards, there's a lot of electronics inside. They were clearly seeing that the RPM is incorrect, and therefore it kept showing that code within, after a race, within 10 to 15 seconds. We will install a new pump. Oh, excuse me, that's the coolant. I will install that new pump, and we will show, I will grab that Autel and I will show you the code will be not set right after we will start the vehicle. There will be difference. This was the problem. It's absolutely clear. Only if you grab it, you can turn it, but it's hard. It's hard. This one spins absolutely freely without any problem at all. I like things to have it easy. So the bottom 2 bolts, I actually got to them. It's way more easier to torque them and reach to them from under. All you remove the wheel and this shield, the plastic shield. That's very simple for me and faster, and I have better control, torquing carefully the pump into place. And if you did that yourself, don't forget to torque your lug nuts. Here I have all 5 bolts correctly torqued, so don't forget the electrical connector. Nice click. You heard it, perfect. All the other ones around are good. So I can install that intake, which you didn't see removal. But that is a minor thing. Up. Nice and careful. Don't damage anything, Peter. There's no rush at all. Camera's rolling, rolling, rolling. And that is done right here. You don't have to look for any other filling areas. And you use Toyota Super Long Life Coolant. This process definitely requires a lot of patience because you keep filling it and it keeps coming all the way up. And even you do it slowly, but then it drops again. So slowly more, it drops again. Until, and you keep repeating, right? This is not done in just few minutes. That takes longer. You keep repeating that until it stops dropping. Now I have it slightly overfilled or perfectly on the top, so I will close it. We had already twice this engine running a little bit, so now the next item is also to open the garage, obviously, for the exhaust fumes, and it stopped raining finally. This I will close later. Right now we will run the heater because there could be air bubbles in the engine cooling and heating system. So you can watch the check engine light, it will not show up. You know it, you can trust me, the vehicle is fixed. We have no problem with that pump. I need to put some air here. And the temperature on the max. Now you can hear it running, perfect idle. You see the status of the hybrid battery. So this vehicle, with that approximate 180,000 miles, will be serving perfectly to this owner. I have no doubt about it. Always recheck everything. And just watch the level. If it will go down, turn it off, carefully open, because it's still not hot. So carefully open and add some coolant. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I will call this success. I'm still going to the test drive for 5-10 minutes. Only after I will write the paperwork down, all of it, and I will call the owner. And it's running only few minutes, but I already can feel the hot air is becoming hot. It's warm, becoming hot, coming out of the vents. Fantastic. And I am back from the test drive and I can gladly report to you, no warning lights, the heater blows hot. Even after shorter test drive, that's enough to heat up that system. So these are pretty cool vehicles that are still holding up. This generation 2010 to 2015, these 6 years, I believe it's worth still keep them and invest them. The generation before, the second, these I will not waste time with those. They're done. But this is pretty great vehicle, despite the fact some people might think it's a high miles. No, with a little bit of maintenance, they keep serving. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumb up and stay tuned. I have way more coming your way soon. See you later, alligator.